Good afternoon. I'm 𝗟𝗶𝗱𝗀𝘀 𝗥𝐺𝑎, Artistic Director of Pocket Opera, and welcome to Songs of the Night, the latest installment in our series of mini concerts that we're calling Pocket Watch. Today we're proud to bring you the work of three stellar artists, Lindsay Rausch, soprano, tenor Alex Tate, and musical director David Drummond. Today you'll hear songs about the night, about the moon, about the stars in the sky, and even about a total eclipse. All of the magical things that make the night special on this, the shortest night of the year. I also want to talk about our upcoming projects. Our animated mini magic flute set in Africa will bring together some of the finest talent around as we collaborate with professional animators and the animation department at San Francisco State University. Among the singers involved will be pocket opera favorites Rabia Dunn as Pamina and Philip Harris as Papageno, and making their pocket opera debut, Michelle Kennedy, Shawnette Sulker, Ken Kellogg, and Orson Van Gay. We also had many other talented singers, actors, and artists coming together to create this very special project, and we know you'll enjoy hearing about it over the next year. And now, on with Songs of the Night. We hope you'll stick around afterwards for a live talkback with our artists as we discuss what it was like to create this project and what it's been like being an artist during a pandemic. We'll also have a word from Jeffrey Jordan, our executive director, about Pocket Opera's exciting return to live performance in 2021 and 22. Now, on with the show. Enjoy.
The sky so dark and velvet-like, and it's all lit up with stars. It's like a great big mirror reflecting fireflies over a pond. Look at all them stars. The longer you look, the more you see. The sky seems so heavy with stars that it might fall right down out of heaven and cover us all up in one big blanket of velvet, all stitched with diamonds. Ain't it a pretty night? Just think those stars can all peep down and see way beyond where we can. They can see way beyond the mountains to Nashville and Asheville and Knoxville. I wonder what it's like out there beyond them mountains, where the folks talk nice and the folks dress nice like you see in the mail order catalogs. I aim to leave this valley someday and find out for myself, to see all the tall buildings and all the street lights, and to be one of the folks myself. lonesome for the valley, though, for the sound of crickets and the smell of pine straw, for soft little rabbits and blooming things, and the mountains turning golden ever. But I could always come back if I got homesick for the valley. So I'll leave it someday and see for myself. Someday I'll leave and then I'll come back when I've seen what's beyond the mountains. Ain't it a pretty night? The sky so heavy with stars tonight that it could fall right down out of heaven and cover us up, and cover us up in one big blanket of velvet and diamonds.
So, alone in this cell, I have one last duty. I leave behind me someone I dearly cherish. I must write to her a brief parting message. Nothing is left of my worldly wealth but this little ring. I will enclose it together with my everlasting farewell. Heaven help me. stars lit the heavens. When the earth lay in slumber, a rustle in the garden, and I heard quiet steps coming toward me. She entered like a goddess. We embraced in the shadows. 1,000 kisses and prolonged caresses, my trembling fingers removed the attire that veiled her naked splendor. But now my dream of love is gone forever. In shock I waken, total in desolation, despair and desolation. When I have never had so much to live for, so much to live for. Total eclipse. No sun, no moon, all dark, all dark amidst the blaze of noon. Oh, glorious light, no cheering ray to glad my eyes with welcome day. Total eclipse. No sun, no moon, all dark. received thy prime decree. Sun, moon, and stars are dark to me. Sun, moon, and stars, sun, moon, and stars are dark to me. Sun, moon, and stars, sun, moon, and stars are dark to me.
Moon up above in the summer sky, all-seeing night shining brightly, wandering and watching from on high into our homes, gazing nightly, wandering and watching from on high into our homes, gazing nightly. Oh, moon, please stay a while, see what you see. Tell of my loved one, where can he be? Oh, moon, please stay a while, look and see. Tell me, oh, tell me if he dreams of me. Say to him, silver moon, mine are the arms that enfold him. Let him know we'll be together soon. Meanwhile, in sweet dreams I hold him. Let him know we'll be together soon. Meanwhile, in sweet dreams I hold him. Moonlight, please show him the way. Oh, silver moon, tell him I'm waiting for him. Oh, please say, tell him I'm longing for him. Oh, silver moon, hoping and we're together soon. If this night 'tis of me he dreams, may this dream live as he wakens. Shine, moon, forevermore, evermore. Oh, shine forevermore.
Hello, I'm Jeffrey Jordan, Executive Director here at Pocket Opera, and what a wonderful performance. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Alex, and thank you, David, for putting together such a wonderful program so all of us can celebrate our summer solstice here on Facebook and YouTube. We have been so fortunate to have over 3,000 views through this whole series. Songs of the Night actually launches our mid-year appeal for our Back in Action Fund. And we're so fortunate to have a wonderful donor that has offered up to $25,000 to match any funds that come in between now and the end of our appeal. In addition, if you donate $500 or $1,000 more, your donation will be triple matched. Now, isn't that exciting? Boy, we could use it because we have some wonderful, exciting programs coming up. A pocket magic flute, our first foray into animation. This will be an educational adventure set in Africa, and we're so excited about that. Also, we will be announcing in early August our 2022 season, which will feature Verdi, Offenbach, and a few other favorites. And once again, thank you for joining us for Songs of the Night. And now over to Nicholas and our artists for a wonderful talk back about how they put this project together.
Yay! Wonderful job, everyone.
Yeah, that
Thank
was fun.
you.
Congratulations. Congratulations on a terrific show. I think our audience really enjoyed it. We've gotten some great comments. And first of all, I want to say to everyone out there and to everyone here, happy Father's Day. If you've taken a little brief break from your Father's Day to watch our show, we hope you are having a wonderful celebration. Happy Father's Day, David, and to Ian, Lindsay's husband,
Yes,
and to all the fathers out there. And also, we hope everyone is celebrating a very joyous Juneteenth this weekend, which is, an especially important holiday this weekend now that it's officially a federal holiday, which is wonderful. And of course, the summer solstice, which is the shortest day of the year, a very poignant day here as night starts clawing its way back from its shortest arc. So it's a rich day here. And thanks to each of you, artists Lindsay, David, Alex. You've been so generous with your time, so generous with your artistry and collaborating. I think you've just done a wonderful job. And I want to talk about what it was like doing this. Lindsay, let's start with you. Was this your first green screen experience?
Oh, aside from like photo shoots, yes, it was. Yeah, and certainly my very first. Well, should I give it away?
Yes,
the magic behind the pull the curtain back. So we did a 2-part recording series. So we went up to Berkeley and recorded the audio only in a studio first, and then the following week we went up to San Francisco and recorded lip syncing to our own recordings in front of a green screen several times in a row to get all the angles that Nicholas needed. And it was just a really different experience.
What was harder? What was easier?
Yeah, so I thought, I was convinced that the audio recording was going to be so arduous that my voice was going to give out, that I wasn't going to be able to sing for 2.5 hours straight, which is the length of the session. And I thought the lip sync was just going to be like, oh, one and done, no problem, in and out of there. And it was the exact opposite. The audio session with David was just like a dream. It was so much fun to work with him, and just to get to like create music live with somebody is such a rare treat for the last couple of years. So that was amazing. And then the lip sync the following week was so hard. I was like, whoa.
Lindsay was our last lip syncer, and she came in. She's like, "Oh, how hard can it be? I'll be." And then I told her it took everyone else 3 hours, and she's like, "What? How can that be?" But sure enough, it's not easy because you want to get it right.
Yeah.
But I think you did a great job, and of course we have to do it from different angles because we can't put 3 cameras on you with the green screen because the angle wouldn't work. So it's matching all these different angles and making sure your gestures are the same, and everyone did an admirable job. I think probably the hardest was poor David, who had to repeat all his twinklings, and I mean that the piano sync in 𝗟𝗃𝗀𝗆 in particular was brilliant. I thought that was wonderful. Let's talk a little bit about the 𝗟𝗃𝗀𝗆, David. Some people who are very familiar with the piece might have found it a slightly different tempo than they're used to hearing.
Yeah, well, there are several things about it. I, of course, have known it and played it in auditions many times and learned to absolutely love it and fear it as well because it's very hard, but never approached it as a conductor. So when it came to recording this, I looked at it with slightly different eyes and noticed, first of all, that the translation, I couldn't find an English translation apart from one that we did a long time ago with English National Opera that actually followed the rhymes. The rhyming translation was not to be found on the internet that I could see. So I decided to write one and make one myself, which was quite a tough task on its own. But
yes, because 𝗟𝗃𝗀𝗆 is not an opera that Pocket Opera has in its repertoire. So
no, and Czech has the accents lie in different places than English, and so it's notoriously difficult to make it work. But looking at the piano part for the first time, I saw that the tempo markings were somewhat faster than I had imagined. When I checked out this 112, I thought that's remarkably fast. Because it's normally such a beautiful one. It's a wonderful slow aria. Of course, it works perfectly. But my duty as a conductor has always been to try and do what the composer asked. So I explored it a little bit. And I thought, actually, it could work at this faster tempo. For the first thing it does, it makes the introduction shorter, so the singer's not standing there for a long time. It makes it sound like the mermaid is just coming out of the sea and splashing off the water of the harp. And then you get this shimmer of the moon. There's actually, it's quite hard to get on in the piano, but there's a syncopated horn part that goes across the beat in a sort of hemiola fashion. And you don't really hear it when it's much slower. So that was the first thing. Secondly, the verses, because when she starts to sing, it just makes her sound a little bit younger. It makes her sound like the young mermaid.
When it's a faster tempo.
When it's a faster tempo. And then the last thing, most telling of all for me, was looking at the refrain, because the chorus line that comes twice when she sings this beautiful line always sounded I thought maybe that's going to be too fast. It just maybe feels too fast. But then it came to me that it was very much like a dance rhythm. It was like, and I remember that Dvořák wrote Slavonic dances. And then I decided I would check out the full score, and the full score verified, because it's not this rhythm that us pianists hate in 6 flats, which is written in all the piano accompaniments you ever see as this, which is really, really hard, clusters of chords all over the place. In 6 flats, really, really difficult to play. It's not that. It's a pizzicato rhythm which goes ching cha cha ching cha cha, and only the harp does which is small in comparison to the rest. So it verified to me that it was much more like a Slavonic dance, and then all the speeds seemed to work for me when it worked.
And I think
I was very grateful. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
I was just very grateful to just discuss it with Lindsay and have her enthusiasm coming back at me and saying, yeah, I really love it. It's great. So we just had fun doing it. It's not.
And we all sort of collaborated very much on it, because we started with 112, but then we actually ended up with a very sprightly 102, which is 102 beats per minute, and I think that was just right and very exciting. So we have a question from our comment section. Will the artists be happy returning to the theaters to perform in person? Alex, why don't you take that? Will you be happy to be returning to the theater?
Yeah, absolutely. I have been stuck at home with no theater to perform in. I'm actually going to be, I'm very excited to return back to the San Francisco Opera stage pretty soon as well, where we're going to be jumping on stage and doing some great shows. So it's going to be nice to be able to get back in and create art with my colleagues and share that space and share that time with them. I've missed it a lot.
But meanwhile, you're doing some exciting video work with us, and this is actually your pocket opera debut. So welcome.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you.
And let the audience know what else you're working on with us.
Well, yeah. So you mentioned earlier that you're doing this magic flute. So I'm going to be music directing for that. We have already done some of the audio sessions for that, recording some of the audio sessions in studio, and it's going to be just incredible. The show is designed to replace a lot of this sort of Western religious thematic stuff with more African mythology and legends, and it's going to be told through the lens of sort of this African perspective, and it's almost totally Black and people of color in the cast and crew, all Black singers, and it's going to be really, really cool. It's designed for kids especially, and so it's going to be like 40 minutes of just melanin joy. It's gonna be
I love that.
Yeah, well, and we've been wonderful animators collaborating with us, the Gibbs sisters, who are just preeminent, their careers on the rise. They are sort of shepherding the whole project and finding us terrific animators to back it up. And then it's also going to be animated by the San Francisco State University Animation Department. And then we are, working with some terrific local actors for the live action scenes. So it's going to be a terrific program. We can't wait. We will, of course, air it for our audiences. And then it's going to be part of our education offerings.
Cool.
So, and Alex has always said, if you're ever doing Tosca, let me know. That's the one he wanted to do. And, unfortunately, it didn't come up as a full show. But since I wanted to do this, when the stars lit the heavens, I thought, let's get our own bit of melanin joy in here, as Alex said, and have you do a little 𝗟𝗶𝘱𝘀. And then it was your idea to do Total Eclipse as an addition to the program, which was terrific.
Yeah, it was sort of sitting in my binder, and you told me the theme. You're like, so we're doing songs about the night or darkness, and I was like, well, I have Total Eclipse. That seems to fit. And Nicholas goes, that's perfect. Let's do it.
It's great because Handel has always been a part of Pocket's repertoire. We haven't done the Samson Oratorio, but we pretty much every year until a few years ago, we did Handel, and even earlier this season, we did our Handel with Care concert. So it's great to have it. He wrote great stuff in English, and Total Eclipse is a terrific piece. So we are, let's see, Mel Bachmeyer asks, how do artists feel about performing out of doors? Has any of you done an outdoor gig?
Yes, I've done a handful of memorials, actually, primarily, and they've been a cappella.
Outdoor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very different experience for opera singers going outdoors, and you don't know whether to just sing all the way to the back of the room or just sing your healthiest and let the mics do the work. It's a very different art form outdoors.
For sure. Yeah, I have done even before the pandemic. I've gone to gigs or done shows where everyone's outdoors or under a gazebo or something like that. But it's tough because logistically you have to figure out how to get a piano in place, with electricity or something, or play a track, and then you have all the acoustic problems of sound loss through air, just the sound going up into the air and losing half of your voice to the ether. So it's a challenge, but it's better than no music if that's the only choice.
Absolutely.
So, and putting this program together was, very much a collaborative thing. But one thing Lindsay had never sung "Ain't It a Pretty Night" before. This was not part of her regular repertoire. And she said, well, maybe I could do the silver aria from Ballad of Baby Doe, which is about the moon, but really it's about, money. So it doesn't quite go with our theme as much in spirit. And so David and I gently nudged and said, well, could you learn "Ain't It a Pretty Night"? And I think it fits you like a glove. Are you going to keep it in your repertoire, Lindsay?
Absolutely. I was going to say, it's not going anywhere. I will be using that song probably for quite some time, I think. I love it.
David, had you ever done any work on Susanna?
When I was director of opera at University College London, we considered it for a British. It wasn't quite going to be a premiere, but I looked at it then. I loved it. But that's just interestingly, that was another score that I came to and looked at the metronome marking and thought, I started playing it and I thought, that's much slower than I thought it was. and actually, it works when you do what the composer says and you take it. I thought it was really unbearably slow at the beginning, but then he asks you to accelerate all the way through. So you get this wonderful progression as she adventures with her mind across the mountains and imagines what it would be like to get out of a small village. Yeah. So it was just a joy. It was a really nice program to work on. So thank you.
We want to say hi and thanks to Carlisle Floyd, a brilliant composer, for creating such an iconic piece of American opera. And Pocket Opera has always been dedicated to opera in English, and we've generally done the Pippin translation of things, but more and more we're going to be expanding to different projects in English. And so we're planning on, just so that everyone knows, in early August we will be making our official announcement, but we are planning on a 2022 season back in the theaters. So you may see some of these wonderful folks here, David, Alex, or Lindsay, on our stages once again in March. But fingers crossed, we might have some dates for September for a sort of a one-off welcome back to theater show. We're just waiting for approval from the city for our theaters before we can kick it off. So stay tuned. And I do want to say that this is our launching of our mid-year appeal. So in June, at the middle of the year, we generally have to raise funds again, and these funds are going to go towards booking theaters for a September show, booking theaters for 2022, paying for our auditions and our marketing, paying our advance pay to some artists. So this is a really important fundraiser for us right now. So for the next month or month and a half or so, you're going to be hearing from Pocket Opera about our mid-year appeal. We hope you'll be generous. We have an incredible donor who's a patron of the lively arts in San Francisco, and he is matching up to $25,000 dollar for dollar. So if we only raise $22,000, we only get $22,000. If we raise $24,000, we'll get $24,000. So please be as generous as you can in the next month and a half. It's a great way to kick things off, I think. Chung Wai Sung says the video looked like the singers and pianists were in the same room. Was that the case in filming? Alex, was that the case in filming?
Not even close. We like as Lindsay said, we did all the audio separately. And in that case, David and I and David and Lindsay at two separate times were in the room together with the piano. But for the filming, we had to do it separately. We had to listen to what we had just recorded earlier in the week and lip sync to that audio. And then David came back at a separate time and played his piano.
And then we build a virtual theater around the singers, and we lay the two places films together. This is all our original COVID protocol, and now as things are loosening up, this will hopefully be the last show that we have to do with that kind of strict protocol in place. But we've done everything we can to make sure that the singers and artists are all safe. We hope we all felt safe and taken care of. But it was
incredibly difficult to do.
Yeah, it's very challenging. But I love in different moments, as Lindsay mentioned in our little private comments to each other, there are little moments that David looks up from the piano to look at the singer. And of course, the singer isn't there when David is filming, but he is imagining them singing, and it looks
so realistic.
It looks so realistic, indeed. So one last question here. Mel Bachmeyer asked, Lindsay, did you worry about taking a step back and falling into the lake under the silvery moon? The setting was very realistic. I think I'm going to take that one. I searched and searched for the perfect backgrounds for each of these. And my fellow editor, Lawrence Dillon, suggested very strongly that we don't use a still image for the Rusalka. We use real video. And so I searched and found this gorgeous moon over a lake, rippling, and I think it was magical. Lindsay, did you like how it looked?
I loved it. And that was my first, today, just watching alongside all of you, was my first time getting to see that background. It was really
me too.
great.
It was so cool to see all that work come to fruition.
Yeah.
It was great. I think, we swore yesterday for our audience, we had a little rehearsal where we kind of clicked through the show, but Rusalka wasn't quite ready. So no one got to see the finished product for Rusalka. But I think it all turned out very well. And I think it highlighted what terrific artists you all are. Lindsay, Alex, David, we can't thank you enough for your work here at Pocket Opera. We hope that you'll be joining us again in future seasons and for future projects. We know we've got you lined up for some things. And thanks to our audience for joining us today.
Yes, thank you.
Be sure to check out pocketopera.org/donate if you're ready to make your donation for our mid-year appeal, and you'll be getting letters from us in the coming weeks. So David Drummond, Alex Tate, Lindsay Rausch, thank you. Happy summer solstice. Happy Juneteenth. Happy Father's Day.
Yeah.
All of the above.
Thank you.
Thank you for being wonderful colleagues.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Thank you.
And thank
Happy
you
Father's
all.
Day, y'all.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We'll be back with more down the line. Look for information from us in emails and on our website and on Facebook. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.